Welcome to The Fraud Lab, where we unravel mysteries, expose scams, and equip you with the knowledge to protect yourself against the ever-evolving world of fraud.
AI, a blessing or a curse? It has revolutionized many aspects of our lives, from self-driving cars to online avatars. But with great power comes great responsibility. And are we taking it too far? Today, we're going to dissect the extraordinary ways AI is used to combat fraud and deception, as well as the darker side of AI, where fraudsters harness its capabilities for their malicious schemes. Be prepared for some jaw-dropping stories of AI-powered fraud that will leave you questioning just how secure our digital world really is. Let's see how deep AI's double-edged sword cuts.
Meet the ancestor of AI. We used to call them computers, but they were more like electronic paperweights. They couldn't tell a cat from a hat, let alone drive a car. And then came the 70s. Disco balls, bell bottoms, and AI. Computers tried to mimic human conversation, but it sounded more like they were reading Shakespeare underwater while hiccuping. Fast forward to the 90s, the birth of the virtual assistants. Remember those days? You'd ask a question, and they'd respond with something about the weather on Mars. But then, in the 21st century, something magical happened. AI became smarter and more sophisticated. It went from awkwardly telling jokes to driving cars, recognizing your face, and making recommendations that were strangely spot on. This, now, has more processing power than all the antique machines combined. AI is all around us, making our lives easier, but also...
Let's just say we're keeping an eye on it at The Fraud Lab. Meet Olivier, the driving force behind Onfido's machine learning team. With a PhD from MIT and a track record spanning from Criteo to Thales Optronics, Olivier's experience in computer vision and deep learning is reshaping online identity verification.
Could you help me with figuring out what AI's role is in the world of fraud?
AI isn't about building a system that can act like humans with all their strengths and weaknesses. AI is about building systems that can be much faster and much more accurate than humans, using advanced mathematics and large pools of data. For example, in the case of fraud detection, it's about finding fraud in the financial world among the gigantic pool of data. And machine learning and artificial intelligence is able to spot fraud that humans wouldn't be able to.
Okay, so it's about efficiency. But I've heard people speak about AGI. Can you expound a little on that?
Yeah, AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence. It is this notion, more of a dream today, of a single AI that could solve any problem in the world.
Okay, so if I understand this correctly, AGI is more of a generalist type of AI?
Absolutely. AGI is really able to solve any kind of problem in the world, and it doesn't exist today. We don't have that. What we do have is applied AI that's able to solve a very specific problem.
One of the leading experts in the field, Robin Howe, is preparing a simulation to show us firsthand how fraudsters leverage AI for identity theft and fraudulent attempts.
In this demonstration, Joe, we're going to attack our systems using our two different tools. The first of our rendering systems is the more sophisticated. Here you can see an image that's an example of what it will produce. Everything in there is fake and synthetically made. The hands, the background, everything. It does an amazing job of creating the fake photo, the names, all the different personal information that needs to be relevant to it in order to pass the checks. The other AGI that we're going to be using is very new, and what it basically does is it breaks an image down into sound and learns through that, and then can create a whole batch from that. So we can give it the sound over time of a British driving license, and it will then go and create a batch for us.
That's crazy.
And here's an example of the sort of samples that it does create. You can see the quality is not as good as the other, but again, it comes up with the fake photograph, the personal information that all has to be relevant to it. So we're sending both of these through our system, and Olivier is then going to review the report and see how well they fared against us.
Great. Well, let's go get Olivier.
So what did you think about Robin's simulated attack?
They're really good attacks, actually. We can see two types of them here. On the left one is a generative AI-based approach where a specific technology called diffusion model is trained to generate highly realistic documents, in this example, a UK driving license. And on the right is a different kind of attack called 3D rendering, where a 3D model generates a highly realistic document using computer graphics.
So did the system catch it?
As hoped, yes and no. So if a fraudster had put these both through, we would have stopped them on the generative AI, and we expected this. It's still very new. As you can see through the mapping there, where it's red, it's absolutely failed in that section. So the security features, bottom of the photo, and as the colors change down, it's picked up on other glitches that it's assigning to fraud, which is what we'd want to see. And then over here with our more sophisticated model that's had many more years to train, we see it managed to pass through. So if fraudsters had put this through, they would have gotten straight through the checks, which is what we're aiming for.
So it was a good attack then?
Yeah.
So what does something like this look like in the future?
Well, in the future, we expect even more realistic generative AI attacks like the one on the left. As you can see on this one, the picture isn't quite perfect. The first and last name are not very realistic, and that's what the system was able to catch. But we expect this kind of attack to get better and better over time.
As I think it's quite clear, AI testing is becoming a real game changer in the fight against fraud. And as Olivier knows well, we have to use everything from the full range of really basic embarrassing fraud through to really sophisticated examples to train our systems on, because we don't know what will be coming at our clients from fraudsters out there. So things like this, we are basically trying to stretch the scope as far as possible to get ahead of ourselves as far as we can.
Well, lab rats, we've explored the dynamic landscape of AI's role in identity verification. Here are some key takeaways that I think are worth highlighting. AI has revolutionized the way businesses operate. It's no longer just about streamlining processes, it's about enhancing security and protecting us from fraudsters who are always ready to exploit vulnerabilities. And the development of AI must be guided by ethical principles, and bias mitigation, it's crucial. We need to ensure that AI serves all of humanity fairly and equitably. Remember, AI is not just a tool, it's a transformative force. It's reshaping industries and changing the way we live and work. See you next time on the Fraud Lab.
For more episodes, subscribe below. And for more fraud content, sign up for our podcast and download our fraud report.